Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? It's your boy, Danli Divine. Once again, welcome to Divine Time, where purpose meets presence and real conversations lead to real transformation. I'm your host, Danli Divine. Here, we speak truth, we heal openly, and we grow intentionally. Every episode is rooted in love, guided by spirit, and created to uplift your mind, your heart, and your soul. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a safe space for the awakened, the healing, and the seekers of truth. So, whether you're here to be inspired, challenged, or seen, you've arrived right on time, divine time. Let's tap in. Today's guest is living proof that redemption is real and purpose can rise from the darkest places. Once a drug dealer and ex felon, Rick Holcomb Jr. hit rock bottom until a divine encounter changed everything. He found God, turned his life around, and is now walking in his truth with unapologetic faith and bold creativity. Rick has fully embraced the power of transformation. From the streets to spiritual awakening, he now uses his voice, vision, and creativity to inspire others to break free from their past and step into their divine calling. Get ready for a raw, real, and uplifting conversation about second chances, spiritual growth, and what happens when you let purpose lead the way. Welcome to Divine Time, Rick Holcomb, aka Mystro. How you doing, sir?
What's up? What's up, bro? What's up, Danli? How you doing, man?
I am divine. I am alive. I can complain, but what the hell is that going to solve, right?
Right. I appreciate you having me. So,
Hey, I appreciate you for wanting to come on. Much love and appreciation, boss. So, with that, I hear that you have an amazing story. Now, I want to say this. I see the tats on your face.
yeah,
Are those treble clefs? Are those musical notes?
music notes. Yep.
I like how you changed it. I like how
I'm
you
trying
changed
to
it.
find music, man. I love it, man.
I like
It
how you
saved my
changed
life.
that.
Yep.
That's what's up. So your life is about music, I take it.
Yeah, it's been about music for a long. It's been a big part. I have other passions, but my very
Hmm.
first passion, the thing that got me through a lot of tough times, is just music, just
Okay.
songs. You know what I'm saying? The music saved my life, and a lot of times, man. I just love music.
That's what's up. Well, with it, this is divine time, and you have a story to tell. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I was gonna say my story is kind of that of like you said, second chances, a
Hmm.
transformation. I actually grew up in church. You know what I'm saying? So I actually got a cross tattoo right here on my face. But I had kind of strayed away after I got out of my parents' house. I kind of stopped going to church, and I kind of just was doing my own things. I got caught a gun charge at age 20, and then that's when my life just started going downhill. You feel me? I ended up catching some battery charges, driving on suspended multiple times, and I just started going down the wrong path. And I got to the point where jobs didn't want to hire me no more. You know what I'm saying? Because of my record. So I approached a guy that I knew, and I told him, "Man, you gotta help me. You know what I'm saying? Teach me how to move some pounds." You feel me? And he did that, did just that. But you know that life come with a lot of chaos and uncertainty. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting my house broken into a few times. Both my cars, I was doing so good, I ended up having two cars, but both of them ended up getting broken into. One night, somebody called me slipping. I was supposed to give them an ounce. They ended up robbing me at gunpoint. And I was thinking, like, man, and I was going to jail every year. I was going to jail at least 3 times every single year. And I was like, I just felt like the walls were closing in. You feel me? I was starting to develop enemies. You know what I'm saying? I was kicking people off the corner because I felt like it was my corner. So it was just a lot going on, and I felt like I was like, man, I'm not gonna live too much longer, and I can't keep going to jail. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just use my talent in rapping and try to make it to Atlanta. Cause I was selling my music and I was really rapping my life. You feel me? And people was feeling it. I even got to play a couple songs on the radio back in Indiana, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just go to Atlanta and just try to break into the world of music or film or photography or something. Because I was like, I can't keep living like this. I was like, I'm gonna run out of chances. And the first time I got the money, something happened. I had to use the money. I think my engine went out on my car, so had to use that money. Then something else happened. It was like the third time I got enough money. I finally had enough to move to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happened. But when I came to Atlanta, I found out the apartment that I wanted to live in, they didn't allow felons. So I had to use my brother's identity, and I ended up catching a fraud case for that. I could talk about that later. And then I found out, my license that got suspended at 24. It got suspended for life because I was just doing too much in the car. I had caught a charge, reckless resisting arrest in the vehicle. So I hadn't had a license since I was 24. So my car was in my ex's name. You know what I'm saying? In the apartment, they was calling me by my brother because I was using his identity. And then I was still trying to get a job so I can, you know what I'm saying, at least have some money to pursue the music, but nobody would hire me. And so I found myself in Atlanta selling weed again. You feel me? Standing on the corners again, standing at the gas stations. And I was so frustrated because I couldn't find a solid plug. And I had too many bills. So what I did, I started scoping out this gas station to rob. You feel me? Just real talk. You know what I'm saying? I had got a sawed-off shotgun. I went and got a ski mask. And I was like, I'm gonna have to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I was clocking what time people worked there. Certain people I knew, you know what I'm saying, certain people might be easier to rob than others. But that night before I went to bed, I prayed and asked God, I was like, if you got something better for me, please tell me right now before I do this. Because it was the day before that I was gonna rob the gas station. And I really didn't want to do it. And so I went to sleep after I prayed. The next morning, a call woke me up. It was a temp agency. And they was like, if you're still interested in working, can you start today? And I was like, what? Hell yeah, I can start today. Man, when I say I couldn't believe it, I said I couldn't believe it. And that's the moment I knew God still was looking out for me. Even though I had stopped going to church probably 12 years ago or 11 years ago, he still was looking out for me. So I ended up going to work the next day. I went up there and filled out the orientation. I started work the very next day. It was only $8.25, but I'm a hustler. If you give me a little bit, I can make it a lot. And so after that, I started going to the church down the street. And then the pastor was Dr. Ripley, and he was preaching these really good motivational sermons every Sunday. So I would just start going every Sunday just by myself. So I'm working my job and going to church. And then I felt like I was never going to live that old life again. And this was in 2002. And since then in Georgia, I put out 2 short films. I hosted a YouTube show for 6 years. This year's gonna be the last year. I won Atlanta Videographer of the Year. I was nominated 4 times. I won 2018 Hustler of the Year. This year, I'm going on a book tour. And it's all because once God showed me that he was still a part of my life and that I had a lifeline, I just used that as my backbone, as a stepping stool. So I went from, at one point down here, I was homeless, living in my car. So now, you know what I'm saying, 800 credit score, 3-bedroom, multiple cars. And it's all because I prayed that night in my heart. That's what I think it is. Or somebody was praying for me. Either way, you know what I'm saying, I feel like it was God's divine timing. So that's why I talk about him a lot in my upcoming book. I talk about him in my music because it was no way, you know what I'm saying, the odds was against me for a long time. I thought I was going to die out there, you know what I'm saying, or end up in prison for life. But God had better plans. So I'm just here, you know what I'm saying, telling people, like, keep trying, don't give up, keep praying. And sometimes like a miracle just come out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? So of course I went from that $8 job to end up getting like a $10 hour job. Then I'm getting one for $14 an hour. Then I end up getting one for $19 an hour. You know what I'm saying? And I was just stacking money, you know what I'm saying? And invested in other stuff to make money, like cameras. So I can do photo shoots while I'm working. I'm doing Lyft while I'm working. I'm doing videography while I'm working. So I'm just multiple incomes now, you know what I'm saying? But it's all legal. Because back home, I was the weed man, the DVD man, the pill man. And of course, I was doing good, but it was, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't legit, you know what I'm saying? So I knew I could transform my hustle into like a legit avenues if somebody just gave me a chance, you know what I'm saying, just took a chance and gave me just give me an inch and I'm gonna take it a mile. And that's what that job at that 825 did, you know what I'm saying? Gave me that little bit of money, and I used that to buy my first camera from a pawn shop. It took all the money I had, and it was only like $350. But I bought that, and I made a lot of money off that camera on my off days when I wasn't working. And so that led me into photography and videography, and then eventually into making film. And I guess, you know what I'm saying, that's the rest is history, I guess.
That is, yo, all right. So you've been a hustler for a long time.
Since 14, I used to sell candy at school. I used to sell pencils for Pencil Pop. I used to rake people's yard for $20, shovel snow, and I worked at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So I've been a hustler my whole life.
Cheese and bread. So you sound like you worked harder than you worked as hard as a West Indian, my guy.
Yeah, so because I ended up running a custom T-shirt shop. I bought a booth at a discount mall, and I ran it for
Mhm.
4 years. They used to say, "Are you Nigerian or something?" Like, you have a bunch of ways to make money. And I was like, "No, I'm not." But I did my ancestry like a year ago, and it said I'm 46% Nigerian.
They called you out before you even knew.
Yeah, man. But now I just like to, you know what I'm saying, enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? I like to take trips. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Eat good. So I always just try to get to the money. You know what
Hey,
I'm
I feel
saying?
you there. I feel you there. There's a luxury and a lifestyle that you don't want to put away.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
that's what I
let me ask you this real quick. So at age 20, you got your gun charge, correct?
yeah.
At 24, your license was revoked indefinitely.
Spending for life. Yep. Habitual traffic offender. D
Cheese
felony.
and bread. So how did you move after that? I know you mentioned that the car was in your ex girl's name,
Yep.
and you were renting an apartment in your brother's name.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, yeah, the apartment, yeah, was in his name. And yeah, it was weird. It was like when the cops pulled me over, I was like, I don't got no license. And they was like, what's your
Hmm.
social security number? I just give them my brother's social security number. You
Okay,
know what
so
I'm saying?
you had your brother's social security memorized.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh
I usually would
gosh.
get away with that, but some cops was like, "Nah, I don't believe you," and they're like, "Let's go down to the station and try to run your fingerprints," and then they lock me up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
A lot of times, anytime I got pulled over, most times I say 50% of the times they let me go, but
Hmm.
50% just I end up going to jail that day. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah, it
was
was a hit or
high, you
miss.
know what I'm saying it's like it's a high crime area, so it's always police. So I was like, that's why I said I got too much. I'm too hot, and I'm riding with guns and drugs. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No license. Yeah, I was wild.
And then at the same time, you were a felon at that time when you were rolling with the guns, right?
Yep.
That's an even higher sentence already right off the bat. I mean, hopefully you
Yep.
had like some hideaway spots in the cars, but I mean, I don't know nothing about that life. Let me shut up before I start telling them my stuff. But let me ask you this: living the street life, what was your biggest fear and also your biggest regret?
Um, my biggest fear is that I would go to prison because when I went to jail, I only went for like short times. The
Mm-hmm.
longest I did was I think 3 months, but usually it's like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 days here, a weekend there. And I was
Okay.
so scared that I would get locked up and not get to raise my son. I was scared. That was my main fear that something would happen to take it because he was my motivation to try to get out the streets originally. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I can't. He's another reason why I can't just keep doing this. I'm like, he needs me to be a real father. And I remember one day I was on the corner hustling and had him with me. You know what I'm saying? And his mother went off on me, came and got him, and I was like, look, I was like, I had to. You feel like I had to be out here today. And it was like I was like, I gotta change, not just for myself. You know what I'm saying? Just to be there for him. So that was my main fear is like going to prison and not getting to see my son grow up.
How was your son with you, or was your son with the mother at this time?
I had him on the weekends.
Okay. So
You know what I'm saying?
did your hustling slow down on the weekends?
Nah, usually I had a babysitter. I
Hmm.
had like three girls that was like customers. They probably was like weed customers or DVD customers. I
Yeah.
would rotate between the three, and somehow on that night, nobody could watch him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I ended up taking him with me. You know what I'm saying? I just told him to stay in the car and don't. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I just need to stand out here for about 2 3 hours. I gave him a
Hmm.
little game to play, but I knew it was a bad decision. But I don't know. I was just on one.
Sheesh. You saying it was a bad decision that leads me into my first pre-question. So
Yeah.
you lived through a life that many don't make it out of. What was the exact moment you knew you had to surrender and let God lead your path?
When I got robbed at gunpoint, it's no reason why them dudes didn't kill me because I had a reputation in the city. They knew I was a shooter, you know what I'm saying? But they had just moved to that side of town, so they didn't even know my reputation. And they didn't know how many goons that I knew in that area, you feel me? But they moved over there and um, I served one of the dudes once, and then a few times I got comfortable with him, so I thought he was cool. But next thing I know, he's in the passenger seat. I'm serving him, and then somebody put a gun to my head on this side. You know what I'm saying? From the window, And then he put his gun on my side, and they both was like, "Don't look at us." That was the moment, because I was like, yeah, because even if it goes bad either way, you know what I'm saying? Because they let me live. They took my chain, they took one of my phones, and they took the 2 ounces. And then I'm on the phone, and we riding around looking for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I didn't die, but what if I did find them and did something that put me in prison away from my son? So in that moment, I was like, this is a lose situation. I was like, I just got to leave. I just got to go to Georgia and start my life over. It was that exact moment with 2 guns on the side of my head. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I can't do it.
So with it, I know earlier before we started actually recording, you told me a little bit that you did music as well.
Yeah.
So while you were doing all this, you were still working on your music and trying to build a brand?
Yeah, I was performing. I had a record label.
Mm-hmm.
I managed like 12 artists. I put out 4 mixtapes a year for 4 years straight. I was just rapping my life. You feel me? Like we had females running through there, you know what I'm saying? Because we had it like that. It was exciting, but it was dangerous. But yeah, I was in 3 different magazines back home. And once I got in the magazine, you know what I'm saying, that brought even more attention to me. So also brought haters. They used to got to the point where they start tearing my posters down off the wall and stuff, or throwing my flyers in the trash. So I just developed a lot of enemies real fast. It was crazy.
So you remember that saying from Biggie where he's like, more money, more problems, right?
Yep.
How accurate would you say that is? Does it really matter if you have the more money you have, the more problems you have, or is it more the more success you have, the more problems you have? Because you can be successful and still be broke.
Yeah. I think it's more of, I would say it's new problems. I think money brings new problems, and you just got to be versatile enough to navigate those, which means you got to kind of be more focused and a little bit more intelligent than a lot of people around you, because you're solving problems that they don't have. You know what I'm saying? And nobody showed you these new problems. When you just walking outside and everybody knows who you are, that can be a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm saying? And then they start telling people where you hang out at, and then some dudes don't like you because they want to be on that corner that you always taking up. So I just say money just brings new problems. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's part of life. I think in life you just gonna have problems regardless. Stuff gonna come up. You know what I'm saying? I think you just have just new stuff that you got to figure out new ways to navigate these new problems. And I think you'll be fine if you intelligent enough and you focused enough. You'll figure it out.
That might be a new line right there. More money, new problems.
Yeah,
But looking, thinking about street life and everything, there's a lot of individuals these days who have no one sense of urgency. Two, they have no street knowledge. There's
yeah,
a lot of individuals who are very book smart, but they have no street smarts. How would
right.
you describe the difference between book smarts and street smarts?
Well, Book Smarts helped me run my custom T-shirt shop. I read a book called Guerrilla Marketing. It's like basically how to build a business on a shoestring budget. And I also read a book called Generating Multiple Sources of Income by Donald S. Passman. I think um, I think book smarts help you out to me if you're trying to be a legit hustler. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing I would go. You know what I'm saying? With street smarts, for me, street smarts means like which areas not to go to at certain times. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing not to be drinking. If you go drive drunk, don't be doing it at the red light. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the cameras are. Stuff like that to me, I consider street smarts. You know what I'm saying? Or try to like, you know what I'm saying? In jail, when I was in jail, we talk about how to get out of certain cases. You know what I'm saying? Or what to say to the police or what to say to the prosecutor. That's street smarts. But book smarts, I think, leads more to like you being a legit businessman. You know what I'm saying? It's a wealth of knowledge I found out in books when I decided to change my life. I've read so many books now, and I love reading books. It's like it's so much knowledge that I didn't even know that I needed to know. That I encourage everybody to read as many books as possible.
See, I got a homeboy. When he was younger, he wasn't really big on reading books and everything. But as he started getting older, well, he reached a point in his life where he was like, I need to read. So he started reading. Now, the thing that gets me, the question I have when it comes down to reading is the reading comprehension.
Yeah.
A lot of people can read, but they won't comprehend what it is that they're reading.
Right.
When you started reading, did you understand what you were reading, or did you have to read these things a couple times to fully grasp the information that was being given to you?
So I'm actually a very good reader. I
Mm-hmm.
was put in advanced classes in third grade.
Oh
So I was
shit!
in enriched classes all the way almost through the last year of high school, and my best subject was reading and English. So even as a kid, I would go to the library and get 30 books every week. You know what I'm saying, and run through them. You know what I'm saying. I've been a heavy reader since my mother taught me how to read at what about age like 3. So by the time I was 4, I was reading. I was reading good. Like I was fantastic at reading by 4 before I even went to kindergarten. I already knew could read. So that's why I ended up excelling in first grade and then skipped me to enriched courses in second grade.
Okay.
So yeah, I comprehended it real good. And I think that's another blessing, you know what I'm saying? That just came from God. Cause I would see other people struggling with reading, even in first grade. They be reading. I'm like, dang, you taking that long to read this? Like,
You
like
sound like
I'm
my son, bro. My son be doing
yeah,
that. Y'all kind of slow.
yeah, I was like that in first grade. I remember it vividly. Every time she would ask us to read out loud, I'm looking at the other kids like, man, y'all don't know these words? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then that's what real I realized as I got older, you know what I'm saying, I could really, you know what I'm saying, like comprehend what I'm reading at a very quickly, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think that was another gift from God that I think that I got.
I want to get down to the childhood, the nitty gritty, real quick. Walk me through a little bit of what your childhood was like, because I'm trying to understand what led you to the streets. Because you sound like a very smart individual, or smart, knowledgeable, and
Yeah.
intelligent, um, well-rounded person. So I'm trying to think, what led you to the street life?
It really like I always like I kind of had an anger problem as a kid. In first grade, I had threw a dude's head into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
In second grade, I had broke a kid's arm. I think in high school I brought a knife to stab somebody. So I always had anger issues, even though I had a 2 parent household. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I didn't like the rules they had. I felt like you know what I'm saying. I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
We couldn't like talk on the phone like I wanted to. We couldn't go over our cousin's house like I wanted to. So I grew up just very angry. You know what I'm saying? My parents like had us really sheltered. So I felt like they was like stifling my potential. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't let me live my life. I didn't get to go to prom. It was so many things that other kids was doing that we weren't allowed to do, and I think that developed the rage in me. So when I got away, you know what I'm saying, I just start acting on my rage, and then you catch that first case. If Jobs would have still hired me, then I probably would have never even had to, you know what I'm saying, hustle.
Yeah.
But it got to the point when I got that gun charge and nobody would hire me. You know what I'm saying? I still got my son. I still got bills. I just had to figure it out. So yeah, that's what led me to the streets. Like I said, if they would have just kept hiring me, I would have never even touched a pound or nothing.
Mm.
Yep.
What?
Because I was a good worker. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a
Yeah.
fantastic worker.
It sounds like you have a very good work ethic. I know that's something that got me very far as well as my work ethic, and I think
Hmm.
that's how do I say this? There's a difference between being a street nigga and a hood nigga, you know. So it's like you can be in the streets, but you won't be from the hood. And I mean, when you understand the streets, it does work on your work ethic for the most part. And if not, then you're most likely gonna die. But anyway, why? I'm gonna touch on that part later on when it comes down to the felons. But what skills from the street do you think reflects into your personal life and your professional life, and also how did it help you?
What I've learned in the streets when I was hustling is you can make a lot of money off of women. Like women will be a good
Oh God, don't tell
customer.
me you was pimping too.
Nah, nah, nah.
Okay, I was like, "Dang, is there anything you didn't do, my guy?" Like, shit. A pimp
I
named
thought about it though.
Slickback.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought about it. I thought about it.
I mean, we both got the hat and everything. Who knows? Shoot. Let me go down to Atlanta real quick. Cato Monte.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, I just found out like a lot of women want to spend money, but the dudes who usually flirt with them or try
Yeah.
to holler at them. What I learned early with the DVD game and the pills and the weed,
Mhm.
if you just give them whatever they want to purchase and leave them alone, then they'll be a customer. Like they'll come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as I talk to my customers and I ask, you know what I'm saying, they're like, yeah, I rock with you because you don't be blowing up my phone after you sell me something. Like, you really just give me my stuff and leave. And I'm like, yeah, I want the money. I'm really about that money.
Facts.
That's all I'm here for. And I felt like a lot of dudes weren't doing that. And even my brother, he was a tattoo artist. So, you know what I'm saying? We trapping out the same apartment. He's doing tattoos in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing my stuff. But the girls that come over, he just tat them up and leave them alone. So he get like more customers. And then that consistency, like we was consistent. We wake up 8 a.m. We're bagging up. He's getting his tattoo stuff ready. He's cleaning his needles and stuff. And we're consistent. We was open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. every single day, 7 days a week. So once you get that consistency over time, that's what equals the success. So I knew I could apply that into a real business if I could ever get to the position to make a real business. Quality, consistency over time equals success. So if you're just consistent and you give them out quality over amount of time, then you get those repeat customers. And I took that mindset into the world of business with my custom t-shirt shop. So some of the finest girls in Atlanta would give me their phone number just for a t-shirt, and I would just do that and leave them alone. And some weird dudes would come around me like, bro, let me get her number, bro. I know she gave it to you. Like, nah, bro, I don't do that.
Yeah, I ain't giving my clientele out. Nah. Treat it like a hospital. That goes against HIPAA, my guy. Like, no.
I'm telling you, like, some of the most beautiful women in the world. I ran my shop for 4 years, and I just do their t-shirt because they give me their number because they want to text the picture to be on it.
Yeah.
I never hollered at my customers in the street or in the business world. And I think that made a big difference because women spend a lot of money.
They do. They do.
So
they really do. When it comes down to it, they say that black folk spend the most money in all the businesses. I'm like, I feel like you got to throw black women in there because they be spending the most. But nah, true talk, no lie. Like that's real talk. That's real talk. Now with it, how has embracing your creativity played a role in your healing and transformation journey? And what message do you hope your story sends to others stuck in the streets?
So I tell people that when I decided to try to make money as a videographer, I didn't know nothing about no cameras, no computers, or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now I got like 2 workstations. I got 5 cameras, a whole bunch of stuff, mics and all kind of stuff. But I put in my 10,000 hours. So while everybody else in Atlanta was partying, I was on this computer trying to figure out how to do rotoscoping or image or motion graphics. I had to learn Photoshop. I'm self-taught with all this. Adobe, After Effects, Photoshop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to use my creativity. My creativity kept me out the street. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm busy, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out how to get sound right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get like good music for videos. I'm paying for royalty-free sounds. So I think my creativity gave me something else to do. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are just idle. And when you're idle in Atlanta, it's so easy to get in trouble. Now, I had my times when I was idle in Atlanta, and a lot be going on down here. But I was like, I spent more time in front of a computer just learning in YouTube. Thousands of hours of YouTube.
Yeah. Everybody says you want to learn some YouTube and Google. That's your best friend right there. And now AI is taking over, but still.
And that YouTube showed me how to open up my t-shirt shop. You know what I'm saying? I was watching YouTube videos on that before I opened. You know what I'm saying? I had only did I made a t-shirt. The first time I made a shirt, I ended up opening up the business 2 weeks after I made my first shirt. You feel me? And then I ended up being one of the best on the east side. You know what I'm saying? But it's all because I watched a lot of YouTube, bro. A lot of YouTube on everything. Graphics, t-shirts, videography, everything. So yeah, that creativity, man, it keep you out of trouble, I feel. You know what I'm saying? To give you something to do.
So how did that help with your healing?
Well, I think the music still was always therapeutic. When I moved down here, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to, so I found therapy through the music. But I was also going to church. You know what I'm saying? Going to church, and if I didn't go to church, I watched TD Jake's sermons on Sundays. I try to every Sunday just try to find some kind of way to connect to God, no matter what I had going on. So yeah, mainly through, and then some of the things that I filmed also, you know what I'm saying, was like therapy. Like I worked for hired by a Serenity Project, where they will feed the homeless. So they was telling their story about how the people downtown Atlanta will run them off because they're set up to feed the homeless, but they run them off if they don't got a permit. And then they'll pay a big fee, but they have to pay it out their own pockets. So they paying the fine and they paying for this old food, and they'll come back and do it again, knowing the same thing might happen, But these people want to feed the homeless so bad that they just like, we just pay it, whatever it is. And that kind of thing was like, is transformative. You know what I'm saying? When I found out it was like that many good people out here trying to do good things, a lot of people that hired me to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I got to see like his real good people out here that really are like, they got God in their life. They care about stuff. A lot of churches hired me. I used to film revivals for churches. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's been a good experience. The camera took me all over Georgia, put me in rooms. I got to talk to the mayor. You know what I'm saying? I got to film him when he won his award. I think it's City Councilman Jeremy Irons. You know what I'm saying? He gave a nice speech about staying motivated. You know what I'm saying? So the camera put me around a different tier of people that I normally would never get to talk to in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like city employees, like I said, the mayor, business owners, really people that's really rich, like worth millions of dollars, have hired me to film stuff. So being around that kind of energy, I just was soaking it up like a sponge.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What would you want to tell anybody who feels like they're still stuck in the streets?
It's gonna be hard, but you can do it, man. You gotta first thing you gotta do is Google or find a way to find jobs that hire felons. That was my biggest challenge, is finding a job that hire felons. You feel me? And yeah, it's so hard though. You know what I'm saying? Because like, luckily, I was creative enough. You know what I'm saying, to learn how to make camera money, because I didn't have a job when I was, you know what I'm saying, making money off my camera. I was to the point I was making enough money off my camera to pay the bills. That's how hard I was going. But everybody can't, you know what I'm saying, just pull that off. I would say you gonna have to take a low paying job. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Most of the jobs that do hire felons, they're gonna be a low paying job.
Yeah.
So you have to swallow your pride. Because I ended up working at a recycle center too for $7.25. And you got, mind you, like, I was moving pounds across state lines. I go from that to working for $7.25. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I felt crazy, but you have to swallow your pride, go take a low paying job, and just and then I made a conscious decision to live in my car. You know what I'm saying? To stack money.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. It's gonna be some hard decisions because you're not making that much money. But over time, jobs start hiring you again. I noticed about after 5 or 7 years, jobs start, you know what I'm saying, hiring me again because my felonies got old. Mm-hmm. So I tell them, like, if you can make it at least 5 years after you catch your record, or maybe 5 to 7, then you'll be good. But you got to stay out of trouble that 5 or 7. You got to just find something cool, keep your head down, and wait till that little time by, and then start putting out applications again, and they probably start hiring you.
Do you happen to have like any resources for anybody who may be like a felon or have any on many cases? I mean, granted, I hear that you over on the East Coast, but for anybody who may be on the East Coast, any resources for them? If not, that's cool too.
Now, I live in Georgia. You consider Georgia the East Coast?
Yeah, Georgia's East Coast, ain't it?
Down south.
That's still East Coast, my guy.
Where you live at?
I'm literally right under you.
You're in Florida?
Nah, a little bit up.
You don't want to say it?
I mean, I got some stalkers and shit. I ain't disclosing it. Okay. If you go to the podcast and listen when I spoke my truth, you'll understand. But nah, for me to avoid catching a case, I'm not gonna put it out there. But I'm in the South too.
I'm from Indiana, so we call that the Midwest. And then we say we moving down south. We being in like Georgia, Alabama.
So when y'all say East Coast, y'all talking about like New York, New Jersey type stuff then?
That's it. That's it.
Really? So y'all go West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, down south.
Down south, yeah. Down south, Texas, Louisiana, where I'm from.
What is Florida?
South. Yeah, Florida. We call that down south.
Florida's down south too? Oh, that's like okay, that's like a tropical thing. When you think down south, you thinking like some cornbread fed motherfuckers and all that. Florida's like, all right, cool. I mean, shoot, I ain't really from here, but yeah, I'm literally like right on the line of you.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll tell you when we get off here. But I can.
What was your question?
Shit.
Because you said something, and I start talking about going down south or being down south.
Oh yeah, resources for anybody who may be on on the East Coast.
It's a company.
I'm sorry, East Coast or down south.
It's a company I know for sure hire felons called Fastenal. It's a warehouse job, and
You said it's called
they
Fast and All.
Fastenal. It's one word: Fastenal. Fastenal. I know it's a big company. You know what I'm saying? If you Google them, they got factories all over the United States. But that was a company that did hire me, even though I had a record. But the boss was on one. He was a goon himself. He fired me for something dumb. So we got
Sorry.
into it.
I'm sorry. It just made me think. I was like, dang, bro, you literally was you was in a professional street environment. He said that he was a goon too, and he fired me on some bullshit.
Yeah, he had face tests, and he had more face tests than me. My boss, that dude
Yeah,
was crazy. He had all golds.
cheese and bread.
Yeah, he fired me.
Hey, that makes sense. I mean, you have a history, and you're trying to do better for yourself. It's like you can't get rid of some things that are on you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's something he has to take with him for the rest of his life. And with that, he's going to get judged. He or she will get judged regardless, no matter how much they've turned their life around, how they did a 180, which makes me laugh because some people like I did a full 360. I'm like, so you came back to exactly where the fuck you were. But anyway, but I'm like doing. Yeah, I'm like, so some people will do a 180, but they're still getting judged based off of the way that they look, based off of not their character, but based off of their appearance. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
but the thing was, it wasn't even his appearance; it was his attitude. He still had a street mentality attitude, even though he's
mhm.
professional now. Like if you ask him a question, he think you trying him, but you're just like trying to learn the job. You know what I'm saying? Like he because
Yeah,
most people be there, like you know what I'm saying. He's like don't be trying me like that. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying you. I'm just trying to figure out where the forklift go when we done. You know what I'm saying? Or why I couldn't come in this time? Can I? You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
But he take it as like a personal attack. Like I think he's soft or something.
Well, and that's
So
the thing, though. Like, you got to think about it. If you are in the streets, you end up when you're in the streets, you have no choice but to be a hard target. Because if you are a soft target, you're not going to make it. So with that, you need to keep your head on a swivel, and you unfortunately have that in your head, in the back of sometimes in the back of your head or the front of your mind that this person may be trying out to get you. So with that,
mhm.
you automatically end up creating this. What's the word I'm looking for?
Confrontation or
Yeah, you subconsciously become you create an aggressive posture.
yeah.
So with me for a long time, like my now wife and some ex-girlfriend of mine had informed me that I'm intimidating. I'm like, how the fuck am I intimidating? And I'm
Mm,
like, what the heck? Or either it's like when I say things, they're like, you're mad aggressive. I'm like, how am I aggressive? So then I was like, okay, cool. Let me soften my voice. They're like, you
mhm.
still aggressive. I'm like, how the fuck am I aggressive? They're like, well, it's not necessarily like what you're saying or what you're doing, but it's just your posture. I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't. How am I supposed to change that? I'm sorry. The way that I was brought up, you couldn't just walk around shoulders slouched and all the time, you know? I'm like, so, and then with it, I had joined the Marine Corps. You can't be soft in that shit either. Did 2 tours in Afghanistan. I apologize. I've been a certain way for so long. It's going to take
yeah,
somebody else to bring it to my attention that what I'm doing is wrong because that has become a part of me, you know?
yeah. I
So I
get
mean,
it. I
I kind of
definitely get it.
understand where he's coming from, and it's like maybe nobody has talked to that goon of a boss and let him know
Yeah,
that, hey, bro, you still walking and talking like this. I understand the position you in, and I know where you come from. I can tell by just watching and how you interact with individuals and how you move. But
yeah,
you ain't in there. Now I'm not coming at you, but
mm,
somebody told me about myself and it allowed me to work on myself. And with
yeah.
that,
That's probably what it
I'm
is.
choosing me. So I'm just letting you know as well. You can take it and leave it, or you can take it and grow from that. But it's if nobody brings it to your attention, there's some things that you won't know, and you will
You won't
continue
know.
doing it because that's who you've
Yep.
been for so long. You know.
Yeah. Nah, that's facts. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully somebody to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I was so mad because I was like, man, you know how hard it was for me to even get a job.
Yeah.
You know I got a record, and you just send me right back out to the block. But
Hey.
it's life.
Everything happens in divine time. I was on an episode yesterday, and I was talking. I was listening to the lady, and then I told her I was like, every single time something happens, it might not be right then and there, but later on, when you look back at that situation, you realize the blessing in it. Everything that
Mm-hmm.
happens is a lesson or a blessing. Now, with it, there's always good in everything that happens. In your situation, with him doing that, allowed you to elevate to where you are now,
Yep.
because if you didn't get fired, maybe you would end up becoming like a supervisor at that job and still be at that job right now. You would not have the things that you have. You would have had to make a hard choice of, am I going to
Mhm.
pursue my goals and my dreams, or am I going to stay in somewhere to where it's comfortable? And I know that
Yeah.
this right here has security.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I probably would have stayed there and been a manager right there now. I wouldn't have made no movies.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done all the stuff. I wouldn't have had even met the Serenity Project people. Like, yeah, my whole life would have been different. You're right.
See, everything
Yeah.
happens in divine time. But nah,
Exactly.
that's best, bro. But going into the I don't want to say, yeah, I'm gonna call it a little felon thing. I'm gonna downplay that. I'm gonna downplay the felon shit
Okay.
because we need to. When I feel, not I feel, I perceive a lot of individuals when they think of a felon thing, it's the same way as when individuals who have gone through, like, let's say SA or things like that, put themselves in a victim mentality. And with that, they're thinking, they constantly are thinking like, man, because of this, I can't do this, I can't do this, and they're constantly beating themselves down.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of individuals have a hard time coming out of that mentality. So with
Right.
it,
Right.
that's why I said I'm gonna call it little. And you know how a lot of people in
Mm-hmm.
the streets be like, "Oh, you got a little camera business, or you got a little try and downplay stuff," and it's like, "No, it's a
Yeah.
lot bigger than that." Now, granted, I'm gonna call it a little felon thing because we're gonna turn that around at some point. Why is it that why does it seem as if a lot of places where there's high melanin,
Yeah.
they're booming in capital gains, but it's also a high crime rate. If you think about it, Los Angeles, California, Sacramento, Georgia, I'm like New York. Why is it that it's places that have a high melanin population bring
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of money, but yet the crime rates are so high? You have so many felons there who cannot get jobs, and once you get into the system, it's hard for you to get out because
Right.
nobody wants to hire you. On this podcast, I love to talk solutions. What
Yeah.
do you think
Yeah.
is the solution to that? I know you said if somebody would have hired me, then I probably wouldn't have had all these charges and whoop de whoop. But besides that, what do you think are some solutions to alleviate these issues that we have in these major cities?
Well, I mean, like I said, like I had heard somebody say if you can't get a job, create a job. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
did. I just, what I'm saying, I created work for myself. I think that is, I don't know. I don't know because a lot of people come to Atlanta hoping to make it, just like a lot of
Yeah,
people go to New York and Los Angeles, and they end up poor. And then, when you make decisions while you poor, it's always something crazy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I think it's just like I don't think a lot of people are. I was never a bad person, but I just was poor. You know what I'm saying? So it brought out the worst in me. I think that's what it is. We got to figure out a way to, because I even want to start a foundation to help felons get jobs. That's probably the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like if we can build like a concrete thing, like I want to make a program called the Teaching Hope, Unity, and Guidance. And
mm,
it'll be a place where all fellas can go and they got perfect resources to get you because I had to go to therapy. I've been in I call it anonymous. I've been the judge maybe go twice. I went once on my own. So this place will give them jobs and mental rehabilitation when they get out. I think that
nice.
might be the best solution. Like we need to have a place where they can go to, you know what I'm saying? And make more incentives, like just like DEI, like you have to have like in this job, you have to have at least 2 felons. You know what I'm saying? Make it kind of like
Yeah.
a rule. You have to have, and then you find a place, and we pushing out felons that got in trouble, but they still want to work, and we
Mm-hmm.
just help them. But it's really no help. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you start to feel like an animal because you're being treated like an animal. Like nobody wants you around. The apartment don't want me living here. I can't drive. The job won't hire me, so you just turn to an animal. To
So
alleviate that, I think they got to get more programs.
that would okay, because there are a lot of resources out there, but people are not educated. They're not really hip and savvy to those resources, and I think that would alleviate a lot of things. Like for example, individuals who come out on parole or come out with felonies. One of their rehabilitation statutes should be that they need to get a job. And
Yeah.
I mean, with that, let's say their caseworker should also be helping them with getting a job because the caseworker should be educated on what the local resources are to help those individuals. I don't want to call them
Mhm.
convicts because some people just get caught up in situations that put them in a bad time. They're not bad people. It just so happened to be that they're in the wrong place at the right time to get fucked up in the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
it's not just the job, it's their mentality. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? They need mental help too. You feel me? Like a lot of dudes is traumatized, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or got PTSD. Like, but nobody, they I don't know if they got the knowledge to go get counseling or therapy like I did.
That
And
comes a lot
somebody,
with the culture, though.
yeah,
The culture for a long time. I'm not sure what it's like now because I don't teach my kids that mentality. But
right.
coming up, that culture kind of was like, nah, you don't need mental health. You crazy? Are you crazy? Okay, then you don't need it. Like
Mhm.
we would push it off as if you need to go to the loony bin, like one that flew over the cuckoo's nest type stuff. Like pop some
Yep,
pills
yep.
3 times a day. Nah, you ain't crazy. You don't need that stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, we need to reverse that psychology in
Yeah,
the
that's it.
household.
That's what we need to do. We got because yeah, that it was so long like that, and it's probably gonna take generations for us to reverse it.
Hmm.
But it'll happen sooner than later. I feel. You know what I'm saying? We just got to do a
The world
better
is
job.
waking up.
We just got to push our kids to speak about their emotions. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
seek some kind of therapy.
And this leads me into my next question. As someone who's turned pain into purpose, what advice would you give to those who feel like their past disqualifies them from a better future?
Get away from your past. I felt like
Ooh.
as long as I was in Indiana, them people was gonna put.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna have to clip that. Say that again.
I don't even know what I said. I said get away from your past.
There we go. Right there. That one. Yes. Yes. Continue.
If
Continue.
the people when I felt like I was at my worst, I know the group of people I was around, and I noticed they didn't really want the best for me. They knew I had talent, but they still would call me to do a drive-by. You know what I'm saying? They knew I was running a record label. They knew I was just in a magazine, but they still like, hey, yo, we need to jump this dude to the club. And I'm like, it's like, I was like, I can't really excel around these people. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It was just too hard. Every time I do something good, I end up doing something dumb with them or on my own and going back to jail. But I was like, that's why I had to move. I was like, I gotta move to a whole other state. That's what I think. You just gotta get away from your past. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is when I started my custom t-shirt shop, I used to go around passing out business cards everywhere. Like I was nonstop. Everybody, every shop, barber shop, I would every day passing out. And then I went into the Goodwill to pass out some cards. And there's an Ethiopian lady in there. I gave her my card. And I was like, yeah, I got a custom t-shirt shop, but I'm also learning camo work. And she was like, how old are you? And I think at that time I may have been like 32 or something. And she's like, you're gonna be a very, very rich man. And I was like, why you say that? And she's like, because you got a good business mind and you're so young. And nobody had never spoke to me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm used to people telling me like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like you trying to fight or you know what I'm saying? Or like it was never that kind of positive influence from a person, you know what I'm saying? And but it's because I got around a different type of person, you know what I'm saying? Just by having a business card. And then as I grow on, I started meeting more people that pour life into me. So I
Yeah.
had never had like people pouring life into me before. But it only happened, I think, because I moved away from that area where I was hustling at.
And that is something that you see a lot with individuals who stay in their community. They become
Yeah.
a product of their environment, and that's all they know. So
Mhm.
therefore, this is one of the reasons why I say it's so important to travel. Even if you don't have the funds to go outside the country, you need to at least leave your block. You know,
There you go. There you go. You got to,
like
bro. The world
if
is
you
so
can leave
big.
your state,
I
even
was
better.
I was so shocked how big the world was. I was like, because that was my whole world. Them two streets, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like where I hustled at, you know what I'm saying? 38th and Post and 38th and Midhofer. That's my whole world. I didn't have no idea of nothing else going on. Man, there's so much out here that's fantastic. It's ridiculous.
yo, I appreciate that, boss. I appreciate that. So with it, when I start to close on a podcast episode, I always ask 2 questions. One, gratitude and what you learned.
What you mean by gratitude? Like, what am I grateful for? Or
Yes. What are you grateful for? And I live my life by 3 daily rules. Every day I strive to bring a smile to somebody's face. I strive to influence someone on a positive level, and I strive to learn something new. For if not, you're getting complacent. So with that, when I say what you learned, what did you learn today? It doesn't have to be on the episode, but just what did you learn today so far?
well, I'll start off by saying what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that God spared my life and allowed me to live through those situations. A lot of people I know, I got friends that's One of my friends in prison for 60 years for murder. You know what I'm saying? Three of my friends got shot. I never got shot. So I'm grateful that God spared me, you know what I'm saying, to even stay alive, to see all the beautiful things I'm seeing now in the world. And what's today is what I learned patience. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get a vending machine for about 2 weeks now, and I went to meet somebody, and they was 30 minutes late, but they took forever to even get back to me. And I was like, I was about to just go off and just be like, man, I'm about to just go off on this person because they got me sitting up here. I drove 40 minutes to get here and they're not showing up. But then 5 minutes later, they showed up and they said they want to give me the vending machine $400 off. And I was like, if I would have just went off on them right then, they wouldn't have gave me this good deal. But since I just said I'm gonna just wait, I was like, I'm gonna just wait 10 more minutes because they're already late. I'm gonna just wait 10 more minutes. And then I waited and they showed up. They got the keys. They let me see how it worked. I took a picture and they really a good person. They just got tied up today. So I think that was a lesson in patience. Sometimes the things you want will take longer than you think. You know what I'm saying? You might have to wait for your time. It might be 2 years, 3 years. It could be 5 years. But you just got to have patience and trust God's timing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say I learned today. I was like, that was a good exercise of patience. I'm glad I didn't go off on that woman because I was heated. I was like, she gonna just stand me up. I was expecting the worst, but nah, she just was late. But I got $400 off the vending machine, so that's extra $400 I could do something else with. So I can't really be mad.
That's what's up. Now, the next question I want to ask before we go is, what do you want to say to any listeners?
Whatever you do, just put God in it. You know what I'm saying? Like even in your relationship, you know what I'm saying, with your girlfriend or your wife, you know what I'm saying? Even relationships with people you meet in business, you know what I'm saying? Just try to keep God in it some kind of way. I think he guides my hand. I think he guides my wisdom. And I feel like purpose only comes from God, you know what I'm saying? Especially for those listeners who not sure what you want to do or here to do in this world. You feel me? I feel like if you tap into just some kind of spirituality, a path open up and you'll find your purpose, you know what I'm saying? And it's usually through God. And I'll also say, and once you do get money, make sure you help other people. You know what I'm saying? I had a whole thing on Sundays where I would just go on Instagram and say I'm giving a random person $10. You know what I'm saying? And those people were so grateful for that $10. So I would say, you know what I'm saying, just put God in your life. And if you got a little extra, try to help somebody out. If you don't got no money, give them a word of encouragement or share their flyer for their business. Try to do more things to help other people. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be surprised how those blessings come back to you. Once you put them out, these are seeds. You just put them out and they come back to you because you just helped out somebody. And some people will be there for you later on. You know what I'm saying? But even if they don't be there, you know what I'm saying? I think God blesses you to bless others. So if you're living in abundance, just give. You know what I'm saying? Give if you can. Don't even worry about if they're going to give it back. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the right thing and you get blessed.
Yo, big facts, big facts. Have you ever heard of the 12 Universal Laws?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, when you get a chance, look up the 12 Universal Laws because what you just spoke about was the law of attraction, law of vibration, and law of reciprocity.
Oh, okay. What's it called?
12 Universal Laws.
So okay. I'm definitely going. It's a
Yeah, they got a hard copy. Hold up. They got a hard copy book. They probably got it in audio books as well. I'm trying to think. Do I have it in my bag? Yeah, I got it in my bag.
yeah, man. That sounds like something I really need to read. That sounds
So
like
yeah, when
something
you get
I
a chance, this one right here, 12 Laws of the Universe.
got you. Got you.
Definitely look into that. And I mean, it's gonna change your life. I mean, it talks about it really changes your life. And I mean, a lot of the concepts that they have in there are also concepts that are in the Bible. So I mean, it's just different religions call it different things, but they all
Yeah.
talk about the same thing. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to get into that. But hey, I do want to say I'm gonna go ahead and take over the screen real quick. For everybody who came from a place that they felt was difficult, was hard, and they turned it into an easier time because they got used to where they were. Don't
Mm-hmm.
ever. One thing that we always said in the Marine Corps was complacency kills. When you get complacent with where you are because you get yourself in a routine, into a habit, and you're no longer trying to elevate, there's a saying that says take 10 steps forward and 12 steps back. So now you're further back than you were forward because of the fact that you stopped trying to move forward. Winnie the Pooh, one of my favorite sayings, often get to where I'm going by leaving where I'm at. So if you are constantly staying where you are, you're never going to reach what it is. You'll never reach your potential, to be honest with you. But yo, this was another episode of Divine Time. I thank everybody for watching. If y'all made it this far, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, share. In all honesty, I'm not trying to get rich off the podcast. All I want to do is reach those that need to hear the messages that are being told. Everybody has a voice, and I want you to know that your voice is powerful. So with that, relax your mind. It's Divine Time. Love y'all. Deuces.
Hey, beautiful souls. If you love deep conversations about life, love, and spiritual growth, help us reach more like-minded people. Like, comment, and share to push these powerful episodes through the algorithm. Let's build a community that thrives on wisdom and connection. Find us everywhere. YouTube at Danli_Divine, Facebook and Kick at Divine Time Podcast, and also follow the blog divinetime.blog. If you're looking for your soul tribe, join our Telegram group, Warriors of Love. Together we rise. Divine Time is now.